Good morning, everyone. I'm Shelly. You are with Ocean Connections right now, and we're located inside the Milwaukee County Zoo. We're at the Sea Lion Theater here. We thank everybody for coming and joining us today. If you are new to us, please know that we are providing virtual field trips at Ocean Connections every Tuesday and Thursday mornings. You know, our goal is to provide some really fun learning activities for all of you. And so we are doing a different program every single Tuesday and Friday morning. We are uploading it onto our public Google Drive along with some supportive educational materials so that we can help out teachers and parents and provide a lot of fun activities for the kids. And it's kind of chilly and cold here in Milwaukee today. Our temperatures have dropped. So, you know, it's a good day to stay inside, and we have a lot of really fun things planned. Today's subject is going to be very fun. It's based on animal training, which is what we specialize in here at Ocean Connections. And before we get started, I do want to take just a moment to say thank you to all of our fans and our friends who are being so supportive to us at this time of need. You know, like every other small business, we are really feeling the impact of the coronavirus, and we are completely dependent upon all of your donations and support to be able to keep doing the valuable work that we do, which includes being able to feed and care for these animals. Being a private 501c3, we are located and we partner with the Milwaukee County Zoo, but we are not supported by them. So thank you so much to all of you who have already donated. If that's something that you're interested in, please know that you can do so on our webpage at oceanconnections.org, or you can Venmo us at Ocean Connections. So today we are going to talk about the importance of animal training. You know, throughout this last couple of episodes, you've seen a lot of what we do. There's a lot that goes into our days. We spend a lot of time cleaning. Oh my goodness, we spend so much time preparing fish. But the best part of our day is the time that we get to spend with our animals. Animal training is so important. And you know what? We hope this is really a relevant conversation for all of you guys at home, because so many of you, I'm sure, have pets at home. Dogs, cats, maybe even some other types of pets. Don't forget to tell us what kind of pets you're going to be training, as well as where you are visiting us from. As we talk about animal training today, we know that you're going to have questions, and we are going to answer them. Make sure that you type them in below, and we'll stop in a little bit and we'll read off some of those questions and help you out. So, you know, animal training is important for so many reasons. When we think about what we do and what you do, first of all, animal training allows us to keep our animals safe. If you are watching us from home and you have a dog, if you train that dog to listen to you, to come when you call it, to sit and to wait patiently, well, then you can provide some safety measures so that they don't run out into the street and they can be safe. It also allows us to provide exceptional animal care. So when you take your dog or your cat or your rabbit, whatever you may have, to the veterinarian, training allows a veterinarian to help out with your animal so that it's not scary or stressful for the animal, which also makes us feel a lot better as caregivers. We want everything to be stress-free. And training, the training that we're going to be talking about, it can be used for every species. It's amazing. So if you were here training sea lions, one of the important things we train our animals to do is to cooperate with a veterinarian and give blood voluntarily. And that's a really big behavior. It takes a lot of trust and a lot of training. It wouldn't be possible without training. If we needed to take care of a giraffe's hooves, training would allow us to be able to give medical care and to be able to file those hooves down. If there was a gorilla that was pregnant and we train it, we could do an ultrasound with that animal and monitor the mother and the baby throughout pregnancy. And how else in the world would we find out how much an elephant weighs if we don't train the elephant to walk on the scale? So there's a lot of important applications that training will help us to succeed in. Most importantly for us also is training, if done correctly, is very, very fun for the animals and for us. You know, here at Ocean Connections, our team is made up of training experts, behavioral professionals. And I'm going to introduce you to one of them today. This is Emmy, and Emmy has been a trainer here working alongside of these beautiful animals for the last 8 years. We're going to take a moment and introduce you to the very special little lady that is joining her today. This is Talise. Hello, Talise. And Talise is just about to experience a birthday because Friday is going to be her 7th birthday. So she is almost an adult California sea lion. She weighs, about 170 pounds right now. She is going to... Thank you, Talise, for that great big sea lion. Hello. She's going to be helping us out today as we talk about training. Now, the goal of training is to influence an animal's behavior positively. That's something to really remember. But when we first start training an animal, the most important thing that we have to do is develop a relationship of trust. When you see Emmy work with Talise, you're going to notice that relationship. And it doesn't just happen. That relationship has to be built. We spend hours and hours every single day working with Talise, playing with her, spending time with her, getting to know her, and developing trust. Animals need to know that we are their friend and that we are not going to ever hurt them. We trust in them and they trust in us. Now remember that as we start training, we want to make sure that animals are excited about it. We're excited about it, and we need them to be excited about it. And so how do we do that? Well, one of the first things we do is we utilize reinforcement. Reinforcement, positive reinforcement, is anything that is positive to an animal.
Good job.
Now, the obvious thing that's positive is going to be lots of food. In a sea lion's case, this is lots of fish. And they eat a lot every day. Talise eats over 15 pounds of fish every single day. And so she does get a lot of fish for training. But we never, never, never withhold fish if she doesn't want to train. It's our job to make training fun and exciting. So fish is called a primary reinforcement because it's something that all species need. We all have to eat. Now, what we eat can always change. So if you're working with your dog, it might be a special treat. There are all different kinds of things that different animals prefer to eat. You also can incorporate something called secondary reinforcers. Training shouldn't be based on the reward of food only. It has to be reinforced by things that the animal loves. And that can be anything that the animal loves. Now, Talise loves eating ice. It's one of her favorite things. We don't know why, but she absolutely loves it. And it's good for her because it's a source of hydration. And if we needed her to become hydrated, this would be a fantastic tool. So this is called a secondary reinforcement. It's been conditioned, and she knows that when she gets that ice, she is such a good girl. That's an important tool for us. But training our secondary reinforcers are anything the animal loves. So for instance, playing with them. How about toys? Talise loves her toys. And so it's really easy to tell her what a good girl she is by playing with her, spending time with her.
Girl, good job.
Thank you, Talise. Training can be lots of back rubs and attention, hugs and kisses. Sometimes sometimes with our animals, it's even providing them their favorite playmate. And we have lots of playmates around here. Emmy, who would Talisa's favorite playmate be?
I'd have to say Miss Moana.
Miss Moana, because they're almost the same age. And those two girls, they get into lots of trouble, don't they?
They do.
They have a really good time, and so that's reinforcing. If you're going to train successfully, you have to know what is reinforcing for your animal, because you are going to need to use it. So when we train and we reinforce, what we're doing is we're increasing the likelihood that the animal will repeat the behavior that we're looking for. Because we've asked them to do something, we reinforce it, and they probably are going to do it again because they got reinforced with something that they really, really liked. Now, one of the challenges that we face in training animals is that we don't speak the same language. I am not very good at speaking sea lion, and our sea lions don't speak English. So it is our job to communicate with them very clearly what we want and to reinforce it when they do it correctly. Now that can be a little tricky, and we have lots of tools in our toolbox that we utilize. So let's kind of go through these. The first thing is you might hear that clicking noise. We are using a clicker. This is it right here. It is a bridge, and it tells the animal what they've done correctly. Listen to Emmy as she's using it. When Talise does something correctly, she hears a click. And that click means good. That was very good, and that's exactly what I wanted. And reinforcement is going to be coming. It doesn't have to happen immediately. Once the animal understands that that clicker means that they're good, and you can do that by just clicking and feeding fish, clicking, feeding fish, then the animal knows that this tells them that they're doing a great, great job. Now, you might not have a clicker at home, and that's okay, because you need a way of telling the animal that they did something correctly. We have all kinds of tools. So Emmy could say, good.
Good. Good.
And that also would act as a bridge. Sometimes we finger point. If we're doing studio work, television work where we have to be real quiet, then we will just use a finger point. And we've also conditioned that. So you can use just about anything that you would like, but you need to have a way to consistently tell that animal exactly what they've done right. Now we have other tools, and we're going to show you something called a target. It's a really simple tool that we use. It's kind of an extension of our hand, but the animals are trained to target on it, which means to touch it. They are trained to hold it, and they are trained to follow it. This target allows us to provide guidance, information to our animal. Now remember, once they learn to touch it and to follow it, Emmy can use this to guide their behavior. And when they do something correctly, she is communicating with them through that bridge, which we're using a clicker today, to tell them that they're good.
Good job.
Excellent job. And of course, they know what? They know that positive reinforcement is going to be coming their way.
Good job.
She is working on a water jump there.
Girl.
Now, when we train these behaviors, it's easy for us to use this target right off the bat because it's an extension of our arm. And we need that extension. But you know what? Eventually, we fade that target out. And we do that successfully by simply putting the behavior on cues. We use hand cues and we use vocal cues. And as we pair that, the animal learns that that behavior is going to be on hand and vocal cues. Let's take a moment and watch Emmy as she works through these behaviors. Listen very closely.
Good. Police. Jump. Jump. Salute. Good girl. girl. Tilly, sleep. Crawl. Good girl. Good job. And another big wave. Good job. Tilly, suck. Good girl. In that water.
Yay,
Nice,
Talise, you did a fantastic job. Now, when you first start training an animal, you need to make sure that you are using lots and lots of reinforcement. An animal like Talise, training is so positive to her. She looks forward to having 4 to 6 sessions every single day. And just as positive is spending time with her trainer.
Good girl.
And so she knows that,
Nice
that when she
job,
comes
babe.
back, Emmy's always telling her how wonderful she is.
Excellent job,
And that
Louise.
is very reinforcing to her. So while you're thinking, well, they haven't fed her in a long time, that food is coming, but we base our training on relationship almost all the time. And that is also followed up with lots of fish and love and play times. Now, another little trick is that as we're training the behaviors, we can't just decide, I'd like the animal to touch that ball that's over the top of the pool. How are we going to communicate that to them? Well, we use something called approximations. And approximations are baby steps. And what does that mean? The first step in teaching an animal to touch the ball is going to be to teach them to touch the target. Because that ball is just kind of a larger target. So after she's touched the target, Emmy trained her to jump while she's in the water. Oh, and then all we had to do was lower the ball over the surface of the pool and eventually send Talise out to target on the ball.
Good. Don't hit that ball,
Here's
babe.
the end result. 7 feet up into the air. Very
job,
nicely
babe.
done, Talise.
Nice
She
job,
did a
Talise.
fantastic job. All right, we have given you lots of information. First of all, hasn't Talise done a great job? Send her a great big heart if you just have loved the work that she's done. We're so, so proud of her. Nicely done, Talise. All of our animals take turns. We have a lot of animals here. There are 12 different animals, California sea lions and harbor seals, and everybody gets their own turn. So it's time to say goodbye to Talise, and we are actually going to be bringing out another animal. You're at Ocean Connections, and we're going to take a moment and answer some questions. So please type them below, and we will get to them very, very quickly. As a reminder, if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. Like us on Facebook. Please share us among your friends and in the community, because we're hoping to really be a resource right now during the coronavirus situation to be able to provide some very fun learning. Today, no doubt about it, it is fun because hopefully we have a bunch of animal lovers at home, and we're really inspired to be able to share all of our positive training and to help you guys out with this. And it looks like right now we're being joined by somebody, but I'd like to take a moment and answer some questions.
So June and Tasha would like to know, where do they sleep?
Oh, what a great question. Where do they sleep? Well, if it is summertime, they tend to all kind of curl up on the backstage, and they want to sleep in the sun for as long as possible. However, in that back area where that door is over in the corner here, that's an indoor area. And they can either walk through that door or they can swim through an underwater channel. That back area has heat lamps, and so it gets very toasty warm during the winter, and it is a favorite place.
Kimberly would like to know, how is Talisa's neck so flexible?
Well, that's a really great question. Talisa's neck is flexible because she lacks a clavicle bone, her shoulder bone. And so Sonoma is showing you right now how she actually is capable of bending over backwards. It allows her to be a very efficient and effective predator of the sea and catch her fish easily.
Everly would like to know, how do sea lions communicate with one another?
Oh, wonderful questions today. Well, just like any animal, they have all types of ways of communicating. Sometimes it's in their body posture, the way that they hold themselves. The males will kind of throw their chests out or wag their heads back and forth. If they are threatening another animal, they might open their mouth and show their teeth at them. when they are greeting an animal, they zerbert them. You guys all know what a zerbert is? I know you do. Well, they go right up to each other's back and they give each other a zerbert. And it's a friendly way of saying, hi, friend. How are you?
All right. I know we have another animal joining us, but just one more question, and I think we'll have some time later to answer more questions. But McKenna wants to know, how does Talise jump so high?
Isn't that awesome? I know, because that ball is actually 12 feet in the air. So she is jumping up quite a long ways. She uses her powerful front flippers to propel her through the water. Sonoma's showing off those big front flippers for you right now. And they are able to swim at speeds of about 15 miles per hour if they so chose. They use those front flippers to sweep their bodies through the water. Sonoma probably can give us a nice demonstration of swimming.
Good job, Sonoma.
Our animals know
Good, Sonoma.
sometimes over about 150 different behaviors. What we're doing right now is kind of having Sonoma show off a little bit of swimming and foraging.
Sonoma. Good.
And you can see how flexible she is in the water as she goes out and tries to obtain
Good,
those
Sonoma,
fish.
come.
Nice job,
Good job,
Sonoma.
That a girl.
Thank you. All right, so let me introduce you to this young lady. You will be happy and surprised to know that this is Talisa's mama. Her name is Sonoma, and I can't believe it, but she's 20 years old right now. That's amazing, because I remember the day that she was born like it was yesterday. Sonoma is full grown, and she weighs about 115. Yeah, what does she weigh right now?
I'd say she's actually closer to about 200.
200.
Because we're coming off the
200.
winter.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. 215 pounds is what I would guess. The animals get on scales about every week, and so I think we're about due for that. Thank you, Sonoma. So as we start talking about putting everything together when you are training, one of the things that you need to remember is that each animal is an individual. And that means that what's positive for one animal is not necessarily positive for the other. You're going to have to know your animal, know what's reinforcing, know what is scary, and you have to work through so that you understand each animal's personality. You also need to be very, very consistent with animals. Animals don't understand that they might have done something a little right or they might have done something a little wrong. You have to have clear, consistent expectations. And so many times we forget to tell the animal that they've done a great job. If you call your dog and the dog comes to you, that's desirable behavior. You have to reinforce it. You need to always let that animal know what a great job they did, because consistency is how you get behavior to be repetitive. It's also really important to remember that animals want to succeed. They love to please us. If we've made ourselves very positive to them, you can see how fun training is, and they want to do the right thing. Sometimes they make mistakes. Well, we all make mistakes. It's okay. They get lots of second chances also. It doesn't make any difference. If they make a mistake, just go on, walk away from it sometimes, come back to it again at a later time. It's not a big deal. And the number one thing when you're training, you have to have lots and lots of patience. Remember, you don't speak the same language, and it's our job to communicate successfully with our animals. As long as you make those sessions very fun and positive, you're going to do a great job, and the rewards are going to be fantastic. You're going to see those rewards in your relationship with your friend. You're going to see that they love training and they love spending time with you. And that's going to enable you to take such better care of them. They can get any kind of medical treatment that they might need, and you're going to be able to keep them safe and have a great relationship. So Sonoma is just going to have a little bit of fun time with her trainer right now. Watch closely as Emmy is working with her and notice all of the tools that we talked to you about. And meanwhile, Brittany, you can ask me any other questions that we might have.
Yeah, we've got a couple of them. DJ would like to know how much fish they eat.
That's a great question, DJ. So much fish. So an animal like Sonoma right now is eating about 17 pounds of fish a day, capelin and herring. Our young little pups are eating about 12 pounds, and our big bulls are eating 22 to 25 pounds. And it's a great way that you guys can help us to take care of them, because one of the things that we need help with right now while our doors are closed is making sure that there's always enough fish for these animals. And if you are able to donate to us and you're able to support our organization and the work we do, know that all of the money that's coming in is going directly to those animals for just that reason right now. So we are really appreciative of that.
Mary would like to know, do the penguins interact with the sea lions?
The penguins do not interact with the sea lions, and there's a good reason. It's called predator-prey. We want to make sure that everybody's successful. The sea lions and the penguins. And we're not maybe quite so sure that the penguins would be successful living with a sea lion.
June would like to know if the sea lion can balance on 2 flippers.
Oh, the sea lion can balance on 2 flippers. And you know, a lot of people actually think that walking on their front flippers is something that is just a trained trick. It's actually a behavior that we utilize to keep our animals moving and in shape and very, very active. These animals are so agile, it's just crazy. And it looks like Emmy's going to do a little bit of training. She's working on it here. Sonoma does not know the behavior that you are talking about, but Emmy is trying to work through some training that's been going on. And what you just saw was the situation that Sonoma didn't understand what she was asking her for. And you know what? I'm so glad you saw that, because it doesn't matter that Sonoma didn't understand it. It's in training. And what did Emmy do? She tried a couple of different techniques and she walked away and said, I'm going to go to something that's positive that you do know. And I'm going to come back to that later.
All right, Gabrielle would like to know if seal and sea lion babies are called the same things.
They are. They're both called pups. And they are both adorable.
And McKenna would like to know if they train at night.
They do not train at night. Every single one of the animals has between 4 and 6 training sessions a day while we are here. At nighttime and in between shows and training sessions, we open up this whole facility. It's 250,000 gallons, and all of the animals have open play time. They can lay in the sun. It's their time. It's free time. They can do what they want. All right, I think we're just about ready to wrap up. Again, if you're just joining us, please share this resource. Our program is going to be uploaded onto our Google Drive very shortly, as well as our supplementary material for you. We are going to be back on Friday, and we're going to talk more about animal training, because you know what? Sometimes it's really challenging. Sometimes it's hard, and it's just a little tricky. It doesn't go correctly. We want to make sure that you understand how to problem solve. So join us Friday at 11 o'clock. Like us on Facebook. Please stay safe, you guys. Have a great week. Thanks so much for joining us.